Welcome back, guys, to the JP Bros Top 1-0s. So this week, the Madden cover was released. Lamar Jackson, very, very well deserving. He was an absolute beast this year in his MVP campaign. I couldn't think of anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise at all.
Moving forward, we're going to list our top 3 candidates for who should be on Madden next year. Who do you think, after this season, will be on the cover of Madden next year? Jared, who is your number 3 guy?
My number 3 guy. So right now I'm thinking of a big market. Who's the guy that will get a ton of love? And I think it's Ezekiel Elliott. Even though not everyone loves the Dallas Cowboys, you can't deny how big of a market that is. I don't think there's been a Cowboy who's ever been on Madden. Ezekiel Elliott is an amazing player. He's been amazing since he's been in the league. And the Cowboys look really, really, really good this year. I think once they get Dak Prescott all locked up, I think they're the team to beat in the NFC East.
Yeah, I think Zeke's a really good choice. I just have a hard time. He would have to have a really dominant season. He would have to break the rushing record, I think, if he was going to get put on the cover. And I think it's going to be a little difficult this year just because we're not sure about what's going on with Dak. And I don't like when teams have like drama that's coming into the season. So it's a little – I do love Zeke, but I just think that this season for the Cowboys is going to be a growth season where we really figure out if Dak Prescott's their quarterback and we see how that team's going to kind of shake out because there's a lot up in the air right now. It's the first season under Mike McCarthy. So I'm excited. I could definitely see it. I think Zeke's a good candidate. For my number 3 candidate, so I went with a defensive player. We don't always see a ton of defensive players on Madden. And I'm just thinking like those lockdown guys, Darrelle Revis, Primetime, Sherm, I think it's time we should see another lockdown corner on there. And I think that Stephon Gilmore is a really good candidate for the next cover. Because if the Patriots, right, let's say they're good. Let's say they go on to make the playoffs. I'm betting that it's going to be more on the fact that their defense is so dominant than their offense. And that would mean because they have a lockdown corner. So why not give it to the defensive player of the year last year in Stephon Gilmore? He was a monster last year. Other than that one game against Devontae Parker, he was shut down all year long. If he can put up another season like that and helps the Patriots make the playoffs without Brady, without Gronk and all these other offensive weapons, that would be something. That should garner some attention.
Yeah, I just think the way that Madden likes to put players who are on good teams. I think outside of Joe Thomas and Peyton Hillis being on the Madden cover with the Browns, they like to get those players on amazing teams. So next, I have a little bit of a surprise. I have T.J. Watt from the Steelers because I think with the Steelers, you have such a legacy there, and I think they're going to be revamped this year. They have Big Ben. They have James Conner coming into another year. Juju Smith. They drafted a lot of guys. And I just think T.J. Watt, his performance last year doesn't get talked about enough because he didn't win the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think he's going to have my bold prediction for next year is that he has at least 16 sacks. He averages 1 sack per game. And I think he is going to be a candidate for the Madden cover next season.
I love TJ Watt. He's a really phenomenal player, and he would have to surpass JJ in terms because JJ hasn't been on the cover yet. I would think that JJ should have been on it by now, but I could definitely see it, especially the Steelers rise back to power. My next one's more of just a wishful thinking. It's a bold prediction, but we've seen crazier things. I would love to see Quentin Nelson on the cover of Madden. Can you imagine if they put an offensive guard on the cover of Madden? Just think about it, okay? Phillip Rivers is back in the backfield. The Colts have 2 very capable rushers in Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. Let's say the Colts are the number 1 rushing team in the league. Let's say Marlon Mack gets close to rushing for 1,000. Let's say Jonathan Taylor gets close also to rushing for 1,000 yards. You can't put any of them ahead because they're both close enough. You can't separate it. And we just go, hey, you know what? He's making the guard position watchable. Like, it's fun to watch him bully people. And Madden decides, hey, let's get out there for a little bit. Let's put someone, that we can all relate to. We love the offensive linemen, give them a little bit of love because offensive linemen do not get the appreciation that they deserve. They only get the hate if they mess up. So let's put Quentin Nelson on there, just for fun. Let's just see where it goes.
Yeah, I think going back to what I said last time, we really got to make sure that who ends up on the cover of Madden is on a very good team. And I'm not sure on how good the Colts are going to be this year. But what we've seen with the Madden cover this year with Lamar Jackson is that they have multiple pictures. So it's like they have the cover photo and then multiple like pictures shadowing in the background. And I can only imagine that with Quentin Nelson, like him just like probably
Just towering
in
over,
in
just
like
looking
a
at you mean.
run blocking position for the main photo, and then cover like just him. I was even thinking like without a helmet on, just like looking like a bully. And I think that would just be hysterical.
That would be really, even if like like they do like editions, like like the old school edition,
Yeah.
the GOAT edition. What if they just did like guard edition?
Yeah, and we've seen it before with when Joe Thomas, who was an offensive tackle, but he was on the cover of Madden, which is ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah, so I can't. I mean, if there's gonna be another offensive lineman, it's got to be Big Q right
Big
now,
Q.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Jared. Who's your number one candidate to be on the cover of Madden next season?
So the past 2 years, we've had Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who were both breakout candidates in the NFL, and a young guy, a guy who that kids love. And I think the next one is going to be Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. And the reason I'm thinking is, you got DeAndre Hopkins, you got a ton of weapons. They got drafted the offensive Josh Jones in the 3rd round. I think this team is going to be lethal. They have Kenyon Drake back for another year. We saw the offensive resurgence when Drake joined the backfield, and I think Kyler's going to be more sophisticated and understand defenses more in his 2nd year. He's playing with Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury has a better understanding of what Kyler Murray can do. And I just, I'm a huge 49er fan if you couldn't tell, but I can see Kyler Murray being insanely good this year.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough division. I mean, but if he goes ahead and knocks off the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Rams, all teams that have been in the playoffs to not even the Super Bowl in recent years,
Yeah.
that would be a very high accomplishment. The NFC's got some fighters in there, and he would be battling with the best in that West. So yeah, I could definitely see it, especially if he takes the next step, like a lot of quarterbacks are projected to in their 2nd or 3rd year. Yes, and the addition of DeAndre Hopkins is massive, and them building protection up front for him also is going to play a huge part. So that'd be a cool thing to see. I also went with a young quarterback for my number one candidate. So in the past 2 seasons, especially for Madden, we saw the quarterback with the big arm, then we saw the quarterback with the great legs. So let's put them together, and what do you have? Josh Allen. I am very high on Josh Allen this year. I think he has an amazing arm. He obviously has the strength, and he can make any throw on the field. He has fantastic legs, better than I thought when we saw him. He hurdled over like Anthony Barnes or something like that, or like in a Vikings game. He's been rushing for I think 10 touchdowns a season almost. Like he has the ability. I think the issue for Josh Allen has been the mental game. I think when he played the Patriots, he would always underperform, and I think playing in his first playoff game, I think towards the end he got a little rattled. But I think now that he's had the experiences, Tom Brady's out of the division, he's had experience in the playoffs. There's no one really I see in that division that's going to take the top from him, and they do have a little bit of a tough schedule that'll kind of like build him up and build that team up. I think he's ready to take the next step. Like I said, the 3rd year and the 2nd year are the years where you see the quarterbacks grow the most. I saw a lot of growth and development in the 2nd year, and now in the 3rd year, it's time for him to take that leap to, MVP type level. And I think I love Josh Allen. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, I love Josh Allen, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, is we've seen glimpses of Cam Newton in him. He's a little reckless, but sometimes you want your quarterback to be reckless. The one thing I would say is, Buffalo's not the biggest market. Even though I love Bills Mafia, they're one of my favorite fan bases in the NFL. I think you got to have a big market to be on the cover of Madden.
Well, a big market starts by the team being good, and last year we saw them take steps to that next level. They stepped out of the bottom tier of the league and showed themselves as real contenders. There was a stretch where I think they like 10 games. Josh Allen only had 1 interception. Yeah. It was wild. Like he would start off the year with a lot and then just like tapered off.
And adding Stephon Diggs doesn't hurt too.
Oh yeah, the addition of Stephon Diggs, a true number 1 wide receiver, I think that's just going to elevate him. I mean, Josh Allen really hasn't had a number 1 since he's been in the league, and I can't even think of one he had in college. This might be his first time having a true number 1 wide receiver, and we love Diggsy. Diggsy is wild. His footwork and his progression is like on another level.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. I remember with Josh Allen back when he was at Wyoming. I wasn't the biggest fan of him. I loved Lamar Jackson. He was my favorite quarterback in that class.
Loved Baker.
And I loved Josh Rosen too.
Didn't like Josh Rosen.
With Josh Allen, there was a lot of question marks because he wouldn't make the smartest decisions, and we've seen him develop in his second year, and
He's had a lot of growth and glimpses. Like, I remember the last game of his rookie season, they were playing the Dolphins, and he had 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns and passed for over 230 yards. You can see the development. Like, I see when he scrambles, he's not just looking to run now. He's actually looking through his progressions at 1, 2, 3. Okay, is it time to throw the ball away? Is it time to get out of bounds? And that shows improvement, and that shows that he has the capabilities to go beyond what he's been doing.
Yeah, I think with him and Kyler Murray, both of their potentials are insane. So that was the JP Bros top 1-0s. Let us know who you think had the better list in the comments section. And yeah, now we're going to move on to the coin toss.
Ba-boom! Way to go! You did it. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. And also follow us on all of our social media at the 50/50 Ball. Have a great day. Peace.